Let me ask you something before we begin. What would you do if the law itself became the trap? Not a corrupt judge, not a crooked system you could fight in court. The law, signed, sealed, unchangeable. And the only way to survive it is to stop being you. Most people would adapt. Most people would say it's just 30 days. Just 30 days of keeping the curtains closed. Nobody has to know. Most people would survive. But this story isn't about most people. Picture this: Babylon, 539 BC. It's night, the kind of night that feels alive. Torches burning along the processional way, the Ishtar Gate rising above the city like a wall of blue fire, glazed lions of gold staring down from the brickwork, their painted eyes catching every flicker of lamplight. The air is thick cedar from Lebanon, bitumen from the river, and underneath it all, something metallic, something cold, fear. Because the whole city knows what's happening tonight. An old man, 85 years old, white-haired, once the third most powerful ruler in the known world, has just been lowered into a pit cut from living rock. 6 lions, starved for 3 days, brought down from the mountains of Elam. Their roaring is so loud it rattles the bronze gates of the palace a full mile away. And the stone they rolled across the mouth of that den, taller than a man, heavier than 10, sealed with the king's own ring. His name is Daniel. And here's the thing that gets me every single time I sit with this story. He's not trembling. His robe is torn just slightly at the hem. His hands are unbound. And he is standing in the middle of those lions and waiting. Not panicking, not bargaining, not running through escape plans in his head. Waiting. How does a man get to that place? How does 85 years of living produce that kind of stillness in the dark? To answer that, we have to go all the way back. Back to when the lions were still cubs. Back to when Babylon itself was young and drunk on its own power. The first decision. 605 BC. Daniel is maybe 15, 16 years old. Nebuchadnezzar, barely 30, freshly crowned, wearing the sun disk of Marduk, has just marched his army across the desert like a storm of bronze. Jerusalem falls. The Temple of Solomon, still smelling of cedar and gold, is stripped bare. And among the captives led away in chains are 4 teenage boys from the royal house of Judah, chosen because they were handsome, quick to learn, without blemish: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah. In Babylon, they're given new names, names of Babylonian gods, new clothes, new language, new curriculum, 3 years of re-education, fed from the king's own table, designed to produce 4 perfectly assimilated young men who would one day help manage their own conquered people. It was a brilliant system, actually. Soft power, cultural erasure dressed up as opportunity. And on the very first day, Daniel makes a decision. He will not eat the king's food. Now, I want you to feel the weight of that for a second. He's a teenager in a foreign country with no family, no protection, no legal rights. The man who controls his food also controls whether he lives or dies. And Daniel looks at that plate meat offered to idols, wine poured out to Bel-Marduk, and quietly, calmly says no. Not loudly, not with a speech. He goes to Ashpenaz, the chief eunuch, and he asks, respectfully, intelligently, give us 10 days, vegetables and water, then compare us to the others. Ashpenaz likes the boy, but he's terrified of the king. If you grow thin and pale, my head is on the block. Daniel smiles, the first of many times he will smile in the face of death. 10 days later, the 4 Hebrews are healthier and stronger than every other young man in the program. Here's what I want you to notice about that moment, because this is the first revelation in Daniel's story, and it's easy to miss. He didn't make a dramatic stand. He didn't write a manifesto. He didn't organize a protest. He just held the line, quietly, consistently, in a small, private, daily decision that nobody outside that room would ever know about. That's level 1, the private conviction that nobody applauds. And it set the trajectory for the next 70 years of his life. The dream nobody could crack. 3 years pass. The final examination comes. Nebuchadnezzar himself questions the young men and finds them 10 times better than every magician and enchanter in his kingdom. 10 times. Daniel, especially, has something in his eyes that makes even the king uneasy. A light, a steadiness, like a man who knows something you don't.
By the king's decree, you are honored men of Babylon. We accept this honor with humble heart.
They're given positions in the palace. Life is good. And then the king has a dream. He wakes up sweating, bedclothes twisted like ropes around his throat. He's seen a colossal statue, head of gold, chest of silver, belly of bronze, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay, struck by a stone cut without human hands, until the whole thing shatters and the stone becomes a mountain that fills the earth. He demands his wise men tell him both the dream and its meaning, not just the interpretation, the dream itself. He won't even tell them what he saw. Impossible, they say. No king has ever asked such a thing. Only the gods could reveal it. The king's response? Kill them all. Every wise man in Babylon executed, and the soldiers come for Daniel and his friends at dawn. What would you do in that moment? You're maybe 18 years old, soldiers at your door, a death sentence you did nothing to earn. The most powerful man in the world has lost his mind overnight, and you are caught in the blast radius. Daniel asks for time. That night, in a small upper room lit by one clay lamp, 4 young men fall on their faces and pray. And somewhere in the dark, the answer comes. The secret is revealed to Daniel in a night vision, the dream, the image, the meaning, all of it. He runs to Arioch, the captain of the guard. Don't kill the wise men. Take me to the king. And before Nebuchadnezzar, this terrifying, volatile, sun-crowned king of the world, Daniel stands with his hands open and says, "The God in heaven who reveals mysteries has made known to me what will be." He describes the dream, every detail. The gold head, that's Babylon, then Medo-Persia, then Greece, then Rome, and finally a kingdom set up by the God of heaven that will never be destroyed. The king falls on his face, trembling, and then Nebuchadnezzar, a man who worshipped 50 gods, says something no Babylonian king had ever said before. "Truly, your God is God of gods and Lord of kings." Daniel is made ruler over the whole province of Babylon, chief prefect over all the wise men. He asks that his 3 friends be given positions too. The public vindication that follows private faithfulness. But here's the thing about power. It has a way of making people forget where they came from. The furnace. A few years later, Nebuchadnezzar builds a golden image, 90 feet high, on the plain of Dura. Every official in the empire is summoned. The music plays. Every knee bows. Every knee except 3. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stand upright in a sea of prostrate bodies. The Chaldeans jealous. watching, waiting for exactly this run to the king. The three Hebrews are brought in chains. Nebuchadnezzar gives them one last chance. His voice is almost gentle, which makes it more terrifying. Who is the God who can deliver you out of my hands? And their answer, I want you to hear this slowly, because it might be the most quietly courageous thing ever said in the ancient world. Our God is able to deliver us, and he will. But if not be it known to you, O king, we will not serve your gods. But if not, they're not claiming a guaranteed miracle. They're not negotiating. They're saying, even if the answer is no, the answer is still no. The furnace is heated 7 times hotter than usual. The flames leap so high they kill the soldiers who throw the 3 men in. And then Nebuchadnezzar leaps to his feet, face pale. Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? True, O king. Look, I see 4 men, unbound, walking in the midst of the fire, and the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods. They step out of the flames. Not a hair singed, not the smell of smoke on their clothes. The long middle. Years roll on like the Euphrates in flood. Nebuchadnezzar dies mad, eating grass like an ox, just as Daniel had predicted. His grandson Belshazzar throws a feast, drinks from the stolen temple vessels, and watches a disembodied hand write on the wall, Men, Tekel, Parsin. Daniel is brought in to read it. He does, calmly, without flattery. You have been weighed and found wanting. Your kingdom is given to the Medes and Persians. That same night, the Medes and Persians divert the Euphrates and march under the walls. Babylon falls while the feast is still warm. Darius the Mede takes the kingdom. He's 62 years old. He sets 120 satraps over the empire, 3 high officials over them, and Daniel is one. And soon the greatest, because an excellent spirit is in him. And that's when the jackals start circling the trap. They watch Daniel the way predators watch something they can't quite reach. They audit his work. They look for bribes, for corruption, for a single lie on his tongue. Nothing. So they turn to the one thing they know he will never compromise. They go to Darius with honey in their mouths. "O King Darius, live forever. All your officials have agreed issue a decree that for 30 days no one may pray to any god or man except you. Violators go to the lions. Darius, pleased at the thought of being worshipped, signs it." That same afternoon, Daniel goes home. He climbs the stairs to his upper room, the one whose windows open toward Jerusalem. He has knelt at those windows 3 times a day for 67 years, ever since the first deportation, ever since the day they took him from everything he knew. The sun is setting behind a ziggurat, painting the city blood red. He kneels, he prays, he gives thanks, and across the street, in the shadow of a flat roof, the conspirators watch and smile. I want you to sit with that image for a moment. He knows they're watching. He has to know. He's been navigating palace politics for 67 years. He is not naive. He kneels anyway. Not defiantly, not performatively, not to make a point. He kneels because that's what he does. That's who he is. The window faces Jerusalem. It has always faced Jerusalem. And no decree, not from Nebuchadnezzar, not from Belshazzar, not from Darius, is going to make him close it. The quiet refusal that costs everything. The king who couldn't sleep. That night, the conspirators come to Darius with soft voices and hard evidence. And Darius, this powerful 62-year-old king of the known world, realizes he has been played. He spends the rest of the day trying to find a legal loophole. Any loophole he can't. The law of the Medes and Persians cannot be altered. He looks at Daniel. Daniel looks at him. And the king says something that tells you everything about what Daniel's life had been. Your God, whom you serve continually, may he deliver you. Continually, he's watched this man for years. He knows. They lower Daniel into the den. The stone is rolled across the mouth. The king's ring seals it. And Darius goes back to the palace and does not eat, does not sleep. No music is brought to him. He lies in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the distant roar of lions. There's something deeply human about that detail. The king, the most powerful man in the room, is the one who can't sleep. The prisoner in the lion's den is the one at peace. The voice from the dark. At the first crack of dawn, Darius runs to the den. Not walks, runs. His voice breaks.
Daniel! Are you alive today?
As he calls out, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? For a long moment, nothing. Just the low growl of the beasts. The king's own heartbeat in his ears. And then a voice, calm, steady, utterly unafraid. O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him. And also before you, O king, I have done no harm. They draw him up with ropes, not a scratch on him. The men who accused him, along with their families, are thrown in. Before they reach the floor of the den, the lions break all their bones in pieces. And Darius writes to every people, nation, and language in the empire. He is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. Daniel prospers through the reign of Darius and into the reign of Cyrus the Persian. He lives to see the exiles return home. He lives to read the scroll of Jeremiah and count the 70 years and realize the time has come. He lives to kneel again toward a Jerusalem no longer in ruins. But on the morning he walks out of that den, hair white as snow, face shining, the whole city watching. What they see is not a miracle. What they see is the result of a life. 67 years of a window facing the right direction. 67 years of kneeling when it was easy, and kneeling when it cost everything. 67 years of small, private, daily decisions that nobody applauded, that built slowly, quietly. The kind of soul that can stand in the dark with lions breathing on its neck and not be afraid. Faith under pressure doesn't look like a superhero. It looks like an old man in a torn robe, standing still. It looks like a teenager who won't eat the king's food. It looks like 3 young men who say, "But if not," and mean it. It looks like a window that stays open, and somewhere in the courts of heaven, the angels who watched that night still tell the story. How the God who shut the mouths of lions is the same God who walks in furnaces, who turns exiles into prime ministers, who, centuries later, would himself be thrown to the wild beasts of human cruelty and rise again on the 3rd day, because some things are worth being thrown to the lions for, and some prayers are stronger than any den, any decree, any empire that forgets the living God.